all you cool cats and kittens. I was just walking by and I saw beautiful Keisha out there in vacation rotation, and I'm going to try and zoom in on her. There she is underneath the platform, enjoying her last couple of days of vacation. Hey, Deb Quimby. Thursday's the day she goes back home. We desperately need to mow in there. Oh, good. I can see people and I see their comments, and I think the donate button is on there, so all is good in my world. I don't know why it wasn't working yesterday. Hey, Marinko. So I tried something a little bit different this time. I completely logged out of my other Facebook app, and I didn't put a description or select the place where I am, which is Big Cat Rescue, because I just don't know what it is that's causing that glitch. But I'm really happy to have both and to be able to see your hearts and your comments. The sun is so bright. I apologize for that flickering. It's like every time my heart beats in my hand, it moves the camera just enough to catch the glare. Debbie, the tiger who had the eye operation, is Zeus the tiger, and he's doing very well. He's such an old cat. He's 21 years old, so we expected his recovery to be slow, but the vet came out and checked on him yesterday, and she said that it's moving in the right direction, his recovery is, so she's happy with that. And he's getting lots of attention, lots of volunteers coming to sing to him and spray him with the hose, which he loves. For those who don't know Keisha lost her tail and one of her ears, and she's got some really messed up stripes on one side that all came from the facility where she was before we rescued her in New York. She was being kept housed next door to lions, and the keepers there said that the lions had ripped her tail off and her ear through the wire. Deb, I have power, I don't have internet. 9 days without power after Irma. I thought I would lose my mind. I haven't gone that long without electricity since I left home at the age of 15 and lived on the streets. It has been a reminder of that period of my life every day up until, was it yesterday that I got power back? And I was so thrilled to have it, and then found out that we don't have internet. So the thing that I usually do for the last hour, maybe 2 hours of the day, is I just totally zone out in front of some Netflix show and binge watch. And Howie always laughs at me because the very next day he'll be following the plot and who all the characters are, and he's like, remember when so-and-so did this? And I'm like, no, I have no idea, because I don't pay any attention. I'm just staring at the screen, letting my body wind down. Oh, my stabilizer is not wanting to be stable today. Hang on a second. Sorry about this. If I don't get the thing in there just exactly right, it makes it caliwampus, which puts extra burden on the stabilizer and makes my phone go all nuts. Well, shutting it off, turning it on. You guys are not going to like this video if the stabilizer doesn't start working. I'd really like a different kind of stabilizer, but I'm not sure what will work with a iPhone. Well, it is just not wanting to do it. So, let me see if just... No, it won't. Alright. Alright, hold tight. Joseph, thank you for being so beautiful. Keeping everybody entertained while I screw around with the technology here. And losing the stabilizer means I lost this because it's held on by the stabilizer to make it not so windy sounding. So I really apologize.
This is Barb leaving property.
Hi, Barb. Barb is our Director of Donor Appreciation. I see Zabu. I'm sure you guys will forgive me if there's a white tiger. White tiger. White tiger alert. Yes, beautiful Zabu alert. Hey, there, little girlfriend. You see your handsome fellas up there on this platform. Okay, I was walking, so I missed any comments that you guys may have had. If you want to pop them back in here, I will try to answer. Yeah, we were really worried about Zeus. We just weren't even sure that he would withstand that kind of an operation. But he was in so much pain that we had to do it, and he's done extraordinarily well. Zabu, I'm just sitting here on the ground with you, my girl. Yeah. Oh, big yawn. Yes, they do see us as peasants or pheasants. I'm not sure what you said there. Cameron is way over there on that platform. Zonked out. Totally zonked out. Hey, Lori and Diane and Carol. And Penny. Cindy. See all the usual suspects in here. Yeah. If you guys saw the updates from today, it's at bigcatrescue.org/September-19. Is that what today's date is? -2017. I posted the updates for the last couple of days, but one of the really sad things was we got a call about a bobcat getting hit by a car, and a woman apparently had seen it happen, and she stayed with the bobcat, called animal control, and the cat died. And while she was waiting with the cat, she saw bobcat kittens across the road, and so she wanted to make sure that those kittens got rescued after the mother died. Animal control said that the mother cat did not appear to be lactating, so we're hoping the kittens were weaned and big enough to survive on their own. But we sent Catherine, our operations manager, and I think she took Gail, and there were like 3 cars leaving out of here. It looked like some posse, man, to go find those kittens. This was down in Port Charlotte yesterday. And it was well after dark before Catherine called me and said they had finally given up the search. The woods were just too deep and thick, and the underbrush too thick. They took audio. Thank you for turning around where we can see your face. They took audio of Cooper the bobcat. If you guys remember when he was in the cat hospital, he was just calling, 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 calling. And so we had recorded that, thinking maybe someday we might need those sounds. And sure enough, they used those sounds to try and lure the kittens out, but they didn't hear any replies from the woods. So the lady who sat with the dying bobcat said there was a mowing crew that came by, and so she said the kittens all ran off when the mowing crew came by. So what we do in cases like that, when we can't find the kitten, is we try to alert all the neighbors about the situation. So I go to Zillow.com and look up all of the neighbors and then send them a letter with a picture of what a baby bobcat looks like, because a lot of people don't know, and tell them how to get a hold of us if they see the cats. Thank you for the donations. I used to see like this big flash of red flowers, and I'm not seeing that now, but I just saw like a gray bar that said somebody had donated. And it must be Donna, because people are saying thank you, Donna. So thank you for thanking Donna, and for everybody else that you were recognizing, that you were thanking. Yeah, you're probably right. Just any old bobcat sound was probably not the best thing in the world to put out there. We were hoping since it was a kitten, it wouldn't be intimidating to the other kittens, but it's the closest thing we've got. Well, thank you, Cheryl. Appreciate the donation. And looks like there was a Mary to thank as well. Yep, Mary donated. Thank you so much. And Kirsten donated. Thank you very much. You know, when you guys donate, it does allow us to be able to just drop everything and go out and try and rescue kittens in situations like that. So I really appreciate it. Also on the update today, we had a big donation come in. The McLean family. It's 3 people in that family, and they always donate like $5,000 or more, but each. And this time they donated $20,000. And what we're doing with that is funding the big x-ray, or not x-ray, anesthesia machine that we need. The anesthesia machine that we currently use is like for a dog and cat practice. It's not really big enough for the bigger cats. It works, but it's just not exactly what we needed. And the Peter Emily Foundation, I don't want to stand anymore, make a shadow on you. The Peter Emily Foundation is going to be coming and doing a lot of, thank you Jennifer, a lot of dental work on our cats. That's what they specialize in, and we were going to really need that big anesthesia machine, so they donated to that, and we ordered it, and it should be arriving in time for all those cats to get their dental work done. Please don't ask me what day that is, because I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's coming up soon. Cindy, you're right, she just plopped over on me. We're going to go see if Cameron is any more attractive. I also got word, I forgot to put this in the updates, that the people who supply the cameras, Explore, they do that through a company called Bexel, and they contacted me yesterday saying that they're planning on coming out and putting in another camera on Cooper in Bobcat Rehab so that you guys can see him down in the small area of his enclosure. That camera died on us a while back, and the one that is working, he's hardly ever in front of, so he likes it down in that smaller area, which is weird. I'm finding a lot of the cats really like that smaller area. Maybe they feel safer. Thank you, Rita. So they're going to put a camera down there so you guys can see them. Liz, you're right. We should have Jamie make a recording of her bobcat sounds. She was pretty successful the other day, but she's in Louisiana, in New Orleans right now, so she wasn't here for that rescue yesterday. Wow, Wendy, $300 in less than 15 minutes? That's amazing. You guys are awesome. I can't see the amount. I used to be able to see the amount. I can't see it now. Yep, that means more turkey for you. We never touch the cats because that would be hypocritical. We don't believe these cats belong in cages to begin with, and if we're petting them and telling you they shouldn't be bred to be pets, how stupid would that be? So no, we never touch the cats here unless they're like sedated for a medical procedure and we're having to carry them to the table or something like that. Thank you, Wendy. You can be my updater of the amounts. You're saying you have a podgy belly. You're not so podgy. He's pretty skinny, actually. He's one they have to feed a couple times a day because he's so fussy. They love boxes. We have a great video on YouTube of the cats in boxes. So if you go to YouTube and type in "do big cats like boxes," you'll find it. And it is a really fun video. In fact, today there was a new video posted of Jade and Armani, the leopards, playing. And there was a lot of them hopping in and out of boxes, which was just precious. Oh, Zabu! You and your pretty flowers. Yeah, they're white like you. White like you. Liana, I'm glad you're learning a lot about big cats. There's a lot to know. We sure learn something every day. You guys teach us a lot. It does not bother me about touching the cats because maybe it's just because of the way I am, but I don't like to be touched. And I can't even imagine how rude that would be for people to just come up and pay 20 bucks to pet me. That would just, that's despicable. I'm sorry, I gotta latch this gate. Oh, sorry about that. So I can really appreciate that these are such incredibly majestic animals, and in the wild they would never let us get anywhere near them. And so for us to be imposing our will on them just because we want to feel special and we want to touch the wild, that's just rude. And it's what drives all of the abuse. You know, if you think about it, these guys that go on television and they take the baby lions and the baby tigers and the baby snow leopards and the baby clouded leopards on these talk shows, and people see that, and you know, they always say, oh, you shouldn't have these as pets. Well, they just say that because they know that the public believes that you shouldn't have them as pets. Most people believe that anyway. And they justify the fact that they're doing it by saying that. But what they're really doing is setting a bad example, saying, well, unless you're special like me, you shouldn't have them. And nobody's special enough that they have any right to possess a big cat. These guys belong in the wild. Unfortunately, if they're born in a cage, they can never go free. Hi! Are you cooling off, girlfriend? Oh, that feels so good. That feels so good. Now Cameron's roaring. Or, sorry, not Cameron, it's Joseph. So there's a couple of ways that we can stop the abuse, and the first one that's really easy is to go to bigcatact.com. Could somebody post that link for me, please? bigcatact.com. And we make it very easy for you to call your member of Congress and let them know that you want them to champion the Big Cat Public Safety Act. When you go to that link, it'll all be spelled out for you. And what that bill will do is ban the private possession of big cats and stop the cub petting that is the main driver. People want to pay to pet those cute cubs like they see on the talk shows. And so if it puts an end to that, then those cats won't end up having to spend their whole lives behind bars. Thank you for posting that link. Robert, Cameron, and Cameron and Zabu are in the same enclosure. It's just really big. So one of them was over on one side, one was on the other side, but it's open. They can be together if they want to. Yes, texting cats to 52886 is another way that you can help. And I do have to say that data and messaging rates may apply. Who can guess what those white spots on the back of her ears are called? Hey, Jerry. Yes, you should make that call as frequently as you feel comfortable doing it. I know Kathy does it every week, and I really appreciate that. It's the squeaky wheels that gets the grease, and we need to make this an issue that Congress thinks is important, and the only way they're going to think it's important is if they hear from you guys. Do you guys really want me to leave Kali and drive across the property to go see Zeus? I'll do that if you want. Corey, thank you for the donation. Donna's right, they're called flashes. Deb, you got it too. I used to do contests based that way, you know, like first person answers question, but the problem is the people I see first are not always the people that really did it first, according to Facebook's timestamp, so I don't know why it is I see something different than what Facebook sees. Sonia, thank you very much for donating. Oh, he's such a mooing cat. Carol, I think she is the definition of a cool cat, but so are you guys. All done? Headed to the sauna now? Okay, now we'll go see Zeus. Unless we see somebody really interesting along the way. Julia, I don't know why you can't hear sound. I'm pretty sure everybody else is hearing sound. Oh, man, this bouncing is really horrible without the stabilizer. We're going to see Zeus. Looking to see if Seth is out on the lake bank, and he is not. Neither is Andy. Andy's in his den. Are cleaning up the tarp that we carry these on. It's a specially made tarp for carrying a tiger. It makes it a whole lot easier. It's really hard to pick up 400 pounds of sleeping cat. Still have the boards over some of our windows. We got to get a lift over here to get it off. And oh man, we lost a lot of shingles. Darn. It didn't look so bad the day after, but now I think we had 3 the day after, and now there's a bunch of them down. I'm not looking forward to re-roofing that. Hello, Zeus. Everybody's wondering how you are. They're saying, how is that beautiful tiger? I really hate the hospital cage, and I was raging on about it yesterday, and how the vets always say that the cats have to stay on the concrete for 7 days to 10 days after they've had any kind of surgery to keep the incisions clean. And one of the vets, Dr. Miller, apparently heard me talking about that on Facebook, so she texted me last night and she said, we'll look at it again in 5 days and see if maybe after 5 days he can go outside. So I thought that was really nice of her to take into consideration the fact that the cats and I just hate that they have to be on concrete. Thank you, Tanya. Appreciate that. Sadly, at most places, this is how they live. And even at the big zoos, a lot of times they will have these indoor jail cells that are smaller than this cage that he's in right now. And that's where they spend most of their time, because the zoos are closed at night. And so they put the cats in what they call night houses at night, which are these little windowless concrete rooms. And then during business hours, which are like 9 to 5, the cats are put out on display. And sometimes they'll have more cats than what they have space for. And the reason they do that is because people want to see the cats moving around. They don't realize that the only way to do that is to force them into staying in the dark rooms, and then maybe once or twice a week they might get let out. They get their turn to go outside, and they're going to spend their whole day walking around, which is what people want to see. And the people that are going to the zoos don't realize that there's all these cats being kept in horrible little prison cells where they're completely off display and often on concrete, because it's easier for them to spray clean. For those who are asking about breeding cats for saving them from extinction, there are no breeding programs for saving big cats. All of the zoos and backyard breeders will tell you that that's why they're breeding cats, but they really breed cats because people will pay to see cubs or pay to touch cubs. None of those cats bred in captivity at zoos or the really bad places are ever going to be set free, and their genetics are not doing anything for the cats in the wild. If you want to save cats in the wild, you've got to save habitat. And I think as long as people make it easy for you to pay your $10 and see a cat in a cage, they're not going to do the really important work of saving habitat. And that's a shame, because without the apex predators in the woods, we won't have any woods, because the herbivores take over and they eat all of the new plant life, and you can't grow a forest if all of the rabbit and deer and everything else that eats those little sprigs aren't kept in check by the animals higher up on the food chain. That air conditioner was noisy, huh, Zeus? Oh, it's so very noisy. Sonia, there's a page at bigcatrescue.org/gofree, and it explains all of the reasons why none of the cats born in cages could ever go free. Alright, well, holding onto my phone instead of having it in the stabilizer, it's getting really hot. So I need to cut this short before I burn my fingertips off. Thank you, everybody, for joining and sharing and posting links and comments and likes and hearts and shares, and all of you who have helped me answer all these questions while Luana's been busy with the TJ book. I posted the TJ book to catrescue.biz tonight, and tomorrow, hopefully, when she posts the update, she will share that link with you so you don't have to search for it. It's just the digital version. The hard copy version is, I think she sold all but 7 of those. But anyway, thank you so much. Love you guys. Love you, Zeus. Good night, Zeus. Yeah, you're not hearing it, are you? Just not feeling it.